What's happening, my friend? Today I'm going to talk about how to create a calorie deficit for fat loss. Hey, this is Colin DeWaay. If you are new here and you want to create sustainable results that last, start by subscribing today and make sure you click that bell notification so you don't miss anything. So you want to lose weight and you've heard that you need to create a calorie deficit to accomplish this. It's true. But you're not sure what it is or how to create one, don't worry, I'm going to teach you that today. But make sure you stick around to the end of the video because I'm not only going to teach you what a deficit is, but I'm also going to teach you how to personally create one for yourself so you can finally see the results that you're after. So a calorie deficit basically means eating less calories than you burn. This creates a negative energy balance inside the body, and basically you start using your fat for fuel. So the concept of weight loss is actually really simple. Just eat less calories than you burn and you'll lose weight. Unfortunately, just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy, and what makes up a calorie deficit is actually pretty complex, but don't worry, I'm going to break it down for you. So there's two big factors that make up whether you're in a calorie surplus, a calorie maintenance, or a calorie deficit. And that's basically the calories in and the calories out. So yes, calories in and calories out is what matters for weight loss. However, what most people think of as calories in and calories out is actually incorrect. Now the calories in part of the equation is actually really simple, and this is what most people think of when they think of calories in versus calories out. The calories in is literally just the exact amount of calories that you consume. So it doesn't matter the exact foods, the macronutrient breakdown, calories in is always the same. Hear me out. So yes, whether you eat 1,000 calories worth of chicken or 1,000 calories of jelly beans or whatever else, it's still 1,000 calories going into your mouth. However, how your body processes this is different, and that's what changes the calories out part of the equation. And there's four main parts of the calorie out equation. The first being the thermic effect of food. So this is where the whole all calories are not created equal thing comes into play. When you eat 1,000 calories worth of something like chicken that is very high protein, your body has to use up a lot more energy just to process it. So the difference between different macronutrients is pretty extreme. So the thermic effect of protein is about 25 to 30%. So 25 to 30% of the calories that you eat from protein, from things like chicken, are actually going to be burned up by the body, and you're going to burn more calories out from that. Whereas carbs is only about 5 to 8% and fats are only about 2 to 3%. So this is where different types of foods actually matter, but not in the way a lot of people think they do. So this is why, yeah, if you ate 1,000 calories worth of chicken or 1,000 calories worth of jelly beans, you'd be getting the same amount of calories in, but you're gonna get more calories out from the chicken. So if you actually made that switch, you would see better results in weight loss because you would be netting less total calories. So that's why when people eat cleaner, so to speak, and have more high nutrient dense foods that have a higher thermic effect of food, they in turn burn more calories and probably feel more satiated from more filling foods and thus see better results. Now the second biggest factor in calories out is something called RMR, or resting metabolic rate. This is basically how many calories your body burns just kind of keeping the lights on, so to speak. So if you literally just laid in bed all day, did not move at all, and make any effort whatsoever, this is how many calories you would burn just by being alive. Now while it may seem like your RMR is not something that you can change, it actually is, but it's something that happens slowly over time. See, the more muscle you have, the more calories your body naturally burns. And this is why strength training is a big portion of many people's plans, and many people who have really good success, they do plenty of strength training. Build more muscle, burn calories during the exercise, burn more calories recovering from the exercise, burn more calories just being yourself carrying around the extra muscle mass. So don't skip out on training. The third factor in your calories out equation is the thermic effect of exercise. So how many calories do you burn while you're performing exercise? So if you're doing cardio or strength training or whatever else you're doing, your heart rate comes up, you start burning more calories, and you get that response from exercise. And this is how you burn additional calories. Something very few people will tell you though is that the thermic effect of exercise typically drops, and especially when it comes to traditional cardio, your body is very adaptive to this. So doing the same amount of cardio over time will yield less total calories burned. And this is why often people will say, I'm only eating so many calories and I'm burning this many through exercise and I'm not losing weight. I should be in a big calorie deficit, but I'm not. It's because you're not really burning as many calories as you thought you were. Now this doesn't mean you shouldn't do cardio and that it's bad, it just means that your body adapts to it, much like it adapts to anything we do, including the dieting we do. It's just you have to understand this, so the more cardio you do, the more cardio you're gonna have to do to see further results as your body does adapt to what you do. The fourth and final big factor with calories out is your NEAT, which stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is basically all the activities that you do throughout the day that are not exercise. So just kind of walking around, sitting up, sitting down, moving around, fidgeting, grabbing stuff out of the kitchen and things like that. All your different movement throughout the day, all that stuff does add up. So don't think that the only thing that matters is your actual exercise. And quite frequently, what people do is make the mistake of they'll increase their exercise, but then they get really tired and they start moving around less throughout the day, and now their calories come down from their NEAT, even though their exercise calories go up, but they net almost the same. And this can be a big mistake that a lot of people make. So make sure you're not lowering your NEAT when you increase your exercise. So those 5 factors, your calories in and the 4 factors in your calories out, are basically what makes up your metabolism. So however many calories you take in versus how many you burn is going to determine if you're in a calorie deficit or not. So how do you know if you're in a deficit? Well, are you losing weight or not? If you're not losing weight, you're not in a deficit, even if some sort of online calculator tells you that you should be. And this is why I'm personally not a huge fan of using these online calculators, but I do think you need to be tracking, and this is why I'm a big fan of tracking macros, so you can know how much you're eating and know if you're in a deficit or not, and make adjustments accordingly when fat loss stalls, because eventually your body will adapt to whatever you do. Now, I'm not saying you can't use an online calculator, and they definitely give you a starting point, and you can kind of take a look and see how things are going and make adjustments accordingly. I just find that most online calculators typically overshoot people's calories, especially when it comes to trying to lose weight. See, what an online calculator can't know is your own personal genetics, your own personal dieting history, and all the things that make up who you are. So they can take your stats, your height, your weight, and activity levels and things like that and try to make a best guess, but it's still not specific to you. But what if you aren't currently tracking and you have no idea how much you're eating? So whether you like to do a different type of diet with a name, something like paleo or keto or whatever else is out there, if that's something that you truly enjoy, by all means do it. I don't think they're typically sustainable for most people, but I have no problem with any diet. If you like it, that's fine, but you're still gonna benefit from knowing how much you eat. So again, your metabolism adapts. As you eat less calories, as your body weight comes down, your metabolism is gonna adapt with that, and eventually that's gonna become your new maintenance calories. So in order to see further progress, you have to eat less calories and or get extra expenditure to see further results. But if you're not currently tracking, what I would strongly suggest you do is take the next week and do a food recall. So continue eating the way you've been eating. Don't change anything that you do, but track it. Be super open and honest and accurate with this, because it's going to give you a lot of detail, and it's also going to teach you a lot about the foods that you eat and what's inside of it, which is also very beneficial for trying to eat intuitively down the road. You'll know a lot more about what's in the foods that you eat. Once you've done this for 7 days, take an average of those 7 days and see what the calories are. If you're maintaining your weight, now you know roughly what your maintenance calories are. So say for instance, you're eating on average 2,000 calories per day. Well, now you know that's roughly your maintenance calories. Now you know you can make some adjustments, and you're gonna need to do some sort of combination of eating less calories or doing more exercise, or probably some combination of the two to start seeing better results. And whatever you do may work for a while, but eventually that's gonna stop and you're gonna have to keep making adjustments. So you wanna make sure they're eating as many calories as possible and doing as little cardio as possible while seeing results, so you can make changes and get things going again. And that's how you keep weight loss going, is by making adjustments as the body stalls out. And this is why you need to know how many calories you're eating, so you can keep making those adjustments. Now, how many calories to drop is a really big what if, and it depends on a lot of different factors. So if you've been losing but hitting plateaus, a good way to do it is just to make more minor adjustments. So maybe around 100 to 150 calories, and a lot of times that can get things going again. If you haven't been losing at all and you've been in maintenance for a long time, or even been reverse dieting or in a bulking phase and you're ready to start cutting, now you need to make a more aggressive drop to see better fat loss. So now you're talking more like a 400 to 600 calorie drop to really get things going. But it all depends on where your starting position is at, where your metabolism at, how many calories you're currently eating, and what's realistic for you. Because say for instance you're eating 1,200 calories a day right now, you're not going to drop 600 calories. It's just not realistic, and it's going to just really put you in a bad way. You don't want to eat that few of calories for any real amount of time, and you're just going to end up slowing your metabolism down dramatically and putting yourself in a really dangerous position to have rapid weight regain later. But But that's not the only option. You can also increase exercise, or you can increase your movement throughout the day, maybe do some more walking and things like that. Now, one thing to keep in mind, while there's certain forms of exercise that definitely burn more calories during the exercise itself, that doesn't always automatically mean it's the best option. It can be, especially if it's something you enjoy, but you have to understand that things like HIIT cardio and more intense cardio and things like that, they place a really high demand on the body and they're harder to recover from. And if you're also doing a lot of strength training on top of that and trying to blast yourself with cardio, you're gonna get pretty run down and it's gonna be hard to sustain this long term. So as I mentioned earlier, maybe you're gonna burn more calories from your exercise, but if it causes you to lay around like a slug all day and not do anything because you're so exhausted and tired, well then you're not gonna net any more calories, or it's gonna be a lot less than it could be, and you're still gonna struggle with results. Which is exactly why I typically recommend more steady state cardio for people, because it takes less of a demand on the body. And I especially like walking when it comes to trying to lose weight. If you do a lot of walking, it's a time commitment, but it's really simple to do and it doesn't take much, and doesn't take a lot to recover from, so you can do plenty of it and burn a lot of extra calories, and it actually burns fat as the primary source of fuel when you're doing walking, so it's a really good alternative in addition to what you've been doing. Now there's one other big thing you have to factor in here. When you start dieting and when you do it for a long time, especially if you've done it for many years and been very aggressive and done it for a very long time, your metabolism adapts down with what you have done. So things like hormones definitely come into play, but it's not just hormones alone. The reason that hormones matter is because when your hormones get all screwed up, it affects your calories out. So when your hormones drop and get into a bad spot, now you start burning less calories from the food you eat. You start burning less calories from exercise, and you start burning less calories at rest and things like that. So while hormonal changes definitely affect how much weight you can lose, it does so by changing the calories out part of the equation. But if you get really stuck, don't worry. I have a plateau busting method that works most of the time, and I'm gonna have that in a card here and at the end of the video that you can check here, and it'll help you out. So make sure you check that out next. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.